Does your baby prefer to sleep, overeat? I mean, honestly, same, but it can be really difficult in the first couple of days. So keep watching. I'm going to give you some tips to make it a little bit easier. Hey everybody, my name is Stephanie Dawson. I am a board certified lactation consultant serving the Central Florida area, and I'm going to give you a couple tips on how to keep your sleepy baby more vigorous during a feed. When they are 2 weeks or younger, very sleepy. Or if they were born a couple months or a couple weeks early, they can also be very sleepy. We call them great pretenders because they look like they're doing a good job, but like they really just, they'll latch and then they just go to sleep. So my first tip, and this is regardless of your feeding method, so you could be feeding with a bottle, formula, or breast milk, or you can be latching at the breast. But ideally, no pacifier because that just keeps them asleep longer, and then they miss feeds. And then the other one is skin to skin. This just helps with state regulation. They're much more likely to go through their normal sleep cycle and their wake cycle, and then they'll just want to feed, and it'll work a lot better. But once you do get them latched on, if you're feeding at the breast, you want to use what I call switch feeding. And that's when you feed for 3 minutes over here, then you switch 3 minutes to 5 minutes over here, and then you go back to the first. So for a long time, we told moms that they need to let baby camp out on one breast until they get all the way to the hind milk. And what we've realized now is that's just kind of a myth. And in my experience, it leads to shorter feeds, lower volume taken during that feed, and again, just really sleepy babies. So by taking on the switch feeding method, you are not only making sure that your baby ends up taking a fuller volume, but it keeps them more vigorous at the breast because you start out with some really easy calories over here to give them energy, right? And then you get some more easy calories. And then when you put them back on the first breast, now you're getting into more of the fat content or fat containing milk. So as the breast becomes more empty, the fat molecules become more condensed. So it's not two different milks, it's just a gradient, right? So the more you can keep them at the breast in general, the fatter milk they're going to get. But if you leave them on one side, they're going to eat for maybe 5 or 6 minutes, get just enough to fall back asleep, and then they get a 15-minute nap where you think they're latched, but nope, they were just sleeping the whole time. So let them go back and forth very frequently, and they'll get a better feed. Once they're latched, you can do hand compressions too. So I'm not squeezing, I'm not attacking the breast, I'm just doing gentle compressions to kind of encourage the milk to go down toward the nipple. Again, this is a great way to make sure baby gets a fuller feed. Now, if you're bottle feeding, though, obviously you can't really do much to change the flow of the milk other than like use a feeding method that is not paced feeding, so you have them kind of on their back. But even then, like it's not particularly safe, not ideal, and doesn't necessarily wake them up. So we don't want to just, mouth is upside down. We don't want to just cram the bottle in their mouth because they don't necessarily get the cue to feed. So you want to make it reflexive. If this is the mouth, their nose would be up here, right? So you just kind of drag the bottle down, and then before long, they start rooting around for it or seeking it. Some babies prefer that you just tap on their lower lip, and then they'll open up and take the bottle. There's this whole sequence of events that has to happen when you expect a baby to initiate a feed. And so if you start with just reflexive feeding patterns, they're much more likely to wake up and start taking their bottle well. So give these techniques a try. And if you are still struggling after trying some of these, this is your sign to schedule an appointment. It can be with me, it can be with somebody else. If you want to work one-on-one with me, go to growlakeland.com and we'll get started. I do accept some insurance policies. I do work virtually, so even if you're not in Central Florida, I got you. So yeah, let me know how these work for you in the comments below. Bye.